Hi guys, it's Lanickia. I am coming to you with season 3, episode 13 of the Handmaid's Tale called Mayday. The season is finally over, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in each week and watching with me. Best episode yet. We're gonna jump right in because I have 7 pages of notes. So we're gonna jump right in. Okay. Starts off, we hear these alarms blaring. We see June, and she looks like she's in civilian clothes. Her hair is down and everything. I'm like, what's going on? So we realize, because we start seeing her surrounded by all these women, and we realize, oh, June has went back to when she was captured in the cages. So we know all about, when they chased her through the woods and everything. Now we find out that she was one of the women that was captured in the cages. And what they do to these women in the cages when they're deciding where they're going to go is horrible. Some of the women are in the doctor's office completely nude, trying to hide themselves as the doctor examines them. Guards are abusive and cursing the women out and kicking them and everything. We see a few of the ladies with Down syndrome get on a van, and I guess they're taking them to the colonies. There's dogs barking. It's just a mess. So June is trying to speak to one guard, and she's trying to tell him, hey, they took my daughter. I just want to know where my daughter is. And the guard just pretty much tells her to shut up. Now, we've been seeing that guard through the series. He pretty much tells her just shut up and everything. So we see Janine, because this was Janine of old when she was a fighter, and she's like cursing the guards out. She's telling them she's gonna sue and everything. She's gonna have a big beach house because she's gonna sue them. And then June grabs Janine, and she makes her hang on, because they have to hang on. They get in the van and they have to hang on. Did anybody else notice that June's hands were not locked? Like Janine and everyone else's hands were locked. June's were not. I'm like, okay, y'all got to do better as far as remembering, like, to make June go along with everyone else. But it goes along with what's been going on all season long, where June has pretty much gotten away with everything she wants to get away with. Y'all, like, it's like everything about the Handmaid's Tales from season 1 and season 2 is completely different from season 3. Like, the way she's able to speak to them, the way she's able to maneuver and go anywhere pretty much she wants to. But we digress. Going back to this episode. So then we see June is window shopping. And so she's in her mind thinking, you know how she likes to talk to us. So she's telling us that the reason that they won the war, Gilead, is because they are ruthless. Look how the men treated them when they were in the cages. Look how they treat them now. What gives men this power? And she says it's because they're ruthless. They don't care. They'll do whatever they have to do to win. And she says now that has made her become ruthless, where she doesn't care, and she'll do whatever she has to do to get these children out. And she says, so at sunset, the children are going to be at the Lawrence. They're all going to make their way to the Lawrence's house, and then they're going to move because they'll be less able to detect them at night. So then we see ladies come, like Alma and all the different handmaids are walking past June, and as they're walking past, they're getting real close to her, and they're dropping soap into her bag. So they're dropping all this soap into her bag. We didn't know what the soap was for. We'll find out later on. So Janine comes up to June, and she says, June, I have a gift for you, or whatever. Yay. She gives June a gift and says, yay, and then walks on. June is smiling at her because you can't be, Janine is Janine. You can't help but love her. And so then Aunt Lydia's like, what was that about, Joseph? And she was like, Janine. And she was like, yes. But then she sees the way the other handmaids are looking at June as they walk past and everything. It's almost like they're getting their direction from June. So then Aunt Lydia tells June, oh, child, I went all past my notes. Then Aunt Lydia tells June, she was like, now you know that you have a lot of influence over the girls. And she was like, yes, I understand. And she was like, popularity doesn't matter or whatever. Don't do something that would get them in trouble, because they look up to you. So don't lead them into something that will get them in trouble messing with you. And June is like, okay, I would never do that. And she's like, and please understand that your next assignment where you're going won't be as lenient or as as the Lawrence household or whatever, because Aunt Lydia wants to get June out of that household because they already feel like that she gets too much leeway being there. And June is like, I understand, But she turns her head away, and they've been letting June do that all season, where she's, instead of just looking them in the eyes and lying to them, she kind of turns her head away and answers them. So anyways, Leah was pretty much telling June, act right. So then we see Sienna is upset. Okay, so June is at the house now, and she's, all that soap that they gave her, she's chopping it up and she's putting it in a pot and boiling it. And now Sienna is upset because she says, y'all aren't telling me anything. What is going on? Or whatever. And June says, where is Beth? And Sienna tells June that Beth is barfing and she's sick. And well, she's barfing. She doesn't say she's sick. And June says she better get better, because June is like, ain't nobody. I don't care if you're sick or not. You better get better by the time the nightfall comes, because we're doing this. We're getting these children out of here. And Sienna said it's her nerves. She's not sick. It's her nerves or whatever. And June is just pretty much like, she'll be all right. And so, anyways, Sienna says, Beth ain't letting me do anything. All she's telling me to do is watch, be there for the commander, or, take care of the commander. And June is just like, blessed be, bless you be on your labors or whatever. And Sienna's like, I was a radiologist. She was in classes and stuff. Like, she could help. And June says, well, stop sitting around expecting someone to tell you what to do. If you want to help, you want to do something, you want to be a part of this, just do it. So Commander Lawrence comes in at that time, and he's like, Sienna, can you iron my shirt for me? His coat, get the wrinkles out. And she's like, yes, sir. And June kind of smirks or whatever, because Sienna's going to do that for him. And then Sienna sees this, and she says, actually, I'm busy helping of Joseph or whatever. And he's like, okay. And so June tells her, take that down to the basement. So now they're letting her help in that. Because remember the other episode when we were like, so they ain't say nothing about getting Sienna out of here. They're talking about Beth and all them, but they ain't say nothing about Sienna getting to leave. So anyways, Sienna goes down and helps, and then Commander Lawrence tells June, she's prickly today, and she was like, you just don't know what a strong woman, you don't remember what they are like being around strong women and everything. And then he tells June that he's scheduled a meeting for the senior, senior commanders and everything, so that they can get the Guardians off the street. They can move most of the security with them, because of course they're going to be watching them with all the, with the Commander Lawrence gone. Not Commander Lawrence, but Commander Waterford gone. They don't know where Winslow is still, so they're going to be watching, them closely or whatever. And she was like, thank you for that, sir. And so then we see Beth comes in, and she asks to come in. So June is talking to Lawrence, and she said, okay, thank you. Oh, Beth. And so they start, so Beth asks Lawrence, do you need anything? You need help with something? And he said, me? No. Because, he's just, it's almost like this isn't his household anymore. This is June's household. And if you remember, the first or second episode when June was like, look at him, they cater to him and they go on his every whim, when he was sitting down there at the table eating, and Sienna was scared to death to even make a false move. She was frozen almost, scared of what to, of upsetting him, because, he could always have them hanged or something like that. So they were all, the women were always catering to him while he was sitting down eating his breakfast and all that. Completely changed. Now they're doing everything that June says do. So anyways, Joseph goes on about his business. So then we see that Sienna, Beth, and June are getting ready for this, for tonight. What's going to happen tonight, which is the moving the children. So they're getting the food prepared. They're getting the water prepared. They're stripping sheets for strips and stuff. And they're just getting everything ready so that they could be on the move. Because one, when you have children, you have to feed them. Because children don't understand, we ain't got nothing to eat. like as an adult, you'll be like, I will go 2 days, 3 days, 4 or 5 days, however long it takes to make this trip to freedom. Children don't understand that. So they're getting everything ready for them so they'll be able to, keep their nourishment up and keep them nourished. Nourished? Anyways, so then we see that Beth goes upstairs and she turns on the light and she drapes this red cloth over it. That's the Mayday sign. That's the sign that says, hey, this is where to come. Did I tell y'all this was called Mayday? Anyways, so in June, remember that soap that June was chopping up earlier and she was putting it into a pot? Well, because all the handmaids gave June soap. So that soap, she takes that soap and she starts wiping the windows down with it, and making it so that all of the she starts wiping the windows down with it so that it's very cloudy, so that if anyone comes in, they wouldn't be able to, if anyone is looking, because the guards always look from outside, they wouldn't be able to see what was going on, like all the food and everything that they have down there. So then we see that, okay, so then June goes outside and she is doing her, she goes outside and she is doing her, she's greasing the gate because the gate squeaks. So she's greasing the gate with the soap, because when she opens it and everything, at first it's squeaking, and then when she greases it down, it stops doing that. So then we see where Kiki and Maggie, the Martha, we don't know their names right now, but we see that there's a Martha and a girl outside, and June it's broad daylight, y'all, because they were supposed to move at night. So they come through and everything, and June brings them in, and we see that Beth has looked down and she sees it and she's like, oh my gosh. So she goes downstairs. So when they come inside, Beth is like, you were supposed to move at night. And though Martha is like, is this it? Is this Mayday? Is this where you're getting the kids to be free? And so Sienna and Beth look at June, and June steps up and she says, yes, this is Mayday. So then we see the next scene is Kiki and June is cleaning Kiki's foot because they have walked from Lexington. Excuse me. They walked from Lexington to try to come to Mayday. So Kiki has bruises and blisters all on her. She has blisters all on her feet and everything. Excuse me. So June is cleaning it with the alcohol and the band-aids, and she tells Kiki, you gotta let me know if it hurts. But Kiki doesn't flinch. She doesn't do anything. She's like, oh, you're a tough one. And so then she just starts talking to Kiki about, freedom. And Kiki's like, what is that? And what is it like outside of Gilead? Because she does not remember. She's 10 years old. So she got into this when she was 5. And so her memories are of Gilead. Like, if she had memories before, Gilead has forced those out because, they got her at such a young age, and they pretty much brainwashed these kids. And I thought it was interesting to see that she couldn't remember because, Hannah is that age as well. And, they were saying that Hannah was having nightmares and stuff whenever she saw June the last time and everything. So I thought that was interesting. And it gives you the dynamic of how Gilead has changed even the children. So then we see June tells Kiki that freedom is being able to, she can wear what she wants. She doesn't have to be a wife or a mother. She can read if she wants to. She can dress the way she wants to. She can love who she wants to love. It's not someone dictating how you think and everything. It's you have freedom. And so then, okay, so June is bonding with Kiki, and then Sienna comes in and she's like, oh, she's trying to leave. And so then here comes Maggie, the Martha, and Beth. And Maggie's like, we're gonna get out of here. My Martha, my mistress is gonna be so upset, and we're gonna get in trouble. But she's forgiving, and she'll forgive us. And I'll just tell her what happened and everything. And Beth is like, you drugged that woman and kidnapped her child. She's not gonna forgive you for that. And then Sienna tries to calm her down. She says, listen, June has a plan. We got this. Like, but she tells Sienna, get your hands off of me and everything. And then June gets up and I say, listen, sis, that might have worked for you in season 1 and season 2 for Maggie. That might have worked for you with that June. But this is a completely different June. And this June might kill you because she's not letting anybody get in the way of what's going on with these children. Her getting these children out. So when June gets up, June goes upstairs, excuse me, and she goes and gets her gun. And she comes downstairs and she sees Maggie taking Kiki out. And she tells Maggie, she just lets her know, listen, you're not going nowhere. You're not taking her with you. And Maggie's like, she belongs here and everything. Because Maggie done got scared, is what says happened. And I'm like, you shouldn't have moved during the daytime. She was like, we've been gone too long. Nobody told you to move during the daytime when like everybody has told you to move at night. That's why you can't tell too many people about your plans. Because everybody don't follow rules. So then June tells Matt, and then so Beth comes in and she's like, June, what you doing? Because June has pulled a gun on Maggie. And she says, she's not leaving with you, Maggie, and you're not leaving. You're not going to leave here. She can't let her leave alive because they can't risk of Maggie getting caught, or even if Maggie doesn't get caught, they can't risk Maggie telling about their plans. So June reaches for Kiki, and Kiki goes to June, and then Maggie says, I'm sorry, and she bolts out the door. June follows her. Beth says, let her go. And so then June bolts out the door after Maggie, because she was like, Maggie, because she had told Maggie earlier, I will shoot you. I will shoot you. I will kill you. So then Maggie goes out the door, and June is pointing the gun, but June didn't do it. She didn't shoot her or anything. And so June hears somebody come up behind her, and it's Kiki, and she twirls around and points the gun at Kiki. And because Kiki is crying and everything. And in that moment, it wasn't June, like June, the loving mother and everything. It's June, I'm not going to let any weakling get in my way of my plans. So, excuse me. What's her name? Beth had to come outside. And she was like, June, what are you doing? So she grabs Kiki up and she's like, June, just like, get yourself together. So then we see, excuse me. So then we see June. So then we see, sorry about this, y'all. Did I miss a part? Oh, I told y'all about Sierra got her badge, so she's able to go into freedom and all that kind of stuff. I think I told y'all about that. Anyways, that was that little part. So then Beth gets the baby because June is now shook because she can't believe she pointed the gun at the little girl. So then we see June is sitting down at the table and she's just looking at the gun. And Commander Lawrence comes in and she's like, you're supposed to be at your meeting. He was like, they saw a Martha and a child walking. Maggie and Kiki, because Maggie was leaving in the daytime instead of at night. So they're on high alert looking for the missing child. He was like, listen, it's over. I'm shutting this down. They finna start searching for this little girl. And he knows that she's at their house because where else was she going? And she's like, and June is just pretty much telling him, no, we're not shutting this down. And he was like, we're going to take the child home to safety. And she says, no, the child's going to be all right because we're going to get her out of here. And he was like, we're going to take her home. And June says, no, she's not. We're going to take her to safety. The plan is still on. I'm not sending her back, so she can stay here where she would be raped and marred and abused, and she would have no life. I'm not doing that because she's thinking about Hannah. She's like, Hannah, she's the same age as Hannah. So if she can't get Hannah out, she's getting Kiki out for sure. And then he says that they're gonna be going door to door, and I'm gonna put a halt to this. And she says, go get me how far is the airport? Go get me a map, and we can find another way to do this or whatever, because he said they're gonna have roadblocks. She said, that's okay, we can find another way to do this. And he says, I'm pulling the plug. He's putting his foot down. He's pulling the plug. We're not doing this. And June said, oh, she grabs that gun up off the table real slow, stands up, and she says, oh, you think you're in charge? She was like, you men, y'all kill, like pretty much she was telling him, y'all men, you killing me. Y'all think y'all in charge of all of this. You're not. I'm in charge of this. We're going on with this plan. And he said, this is still my house, young lady. I was like, young lady. But she was like, she just laughed and she said, you still think it's your house? Mm-mm. Now go give me that map like I told you to do. And I was like, okay, John. Okay. So then, okay, so she pretty much tells him it's not your decision and everything. So then June puts the gun inside of her, like, legging, her boot, because you know they have to wear a boot. So she puts the gun inside of her boot. Now, y'all, we see Fred. He's giving his disposition to Miss Murray. And he's just telling about Gilead, and Fred trying to make himself like, I kept everyone in check, try to keep it calm. Like, Fred, stop it. You were in all this. You were probably in it more than anyone else because you love Jezebels and all that. But anyways, Tuello comes in, and they stop the disposition at that day, and he says Miss Murray is very thorough and all that, which I guess he's saying I'm having to answer all these questions and stuff. And Tuello is just like, thank you so much for your helping and everything. Now, Fred says I have some information about Serena, and he says Serena has immunity. So whatever information whatever she did or what, it doesn't even matter because she has immunity because, she had no other choice. And Fred was like, not with this one. She had a choice. This was all on her. Gilead wouldn't have appreciated that. Not even God would have appreciated. Like, this goes against Gilead's law and God's law. And so I'm like, what is Fred? Like, I literally was like, what could he possibly have on Serena that is like that? Because she's told, everything. But he said he's been looking at their law books and everything, so he knows. So I guess he's found the loop and what they, and how they can try Serena, because he's still upset that she got him in this. Because honestly, he was willing to give up being a command. He was willing to give it all up for her and the baby, and she set him up. So he's upset about that. So anyways, so then we go to Sienna, Beth, and June are trying to find a way. So they got the maps, and they are trying to find a way to get out. And Sienna says, we could go through the river. We could go through the water. We could do it on foot. Because they were supposed to get it on a bus and all that, but they're like, okay, we can do it on foot. And so June is like, okay, we'll do it on foot. And then they hear dogs barking, and June goes to, so June goes outside. And when she goes outside, she's like, I don't see anything or whatever. But it's a car that drives by, like a police car, the guards drive by, and she turns. And when she turns, she looks, and she sees Martha's with kids. So she starts letting them all in. They're all coming in. So all these Marthas, some kind of way, snuck past all these guards, snuck past all these house searches. They got through all of that and made it to the Lawrence house. So they let them all come in. And then it's one Martha, and she has the baby. She has a baby. Whose baby is this? Is this of Matthew's baby? Because I was like, I don't remember them having any other birthing. The only other one, that child was stillborn. So I was like, is this of Matthew's baby? But anyway, that Martha killed her people because she said, listen, they weren't going to let me leave with this baby. So she had to end up killing her people, Rita said. And Rita is there and everything to help. And so they all go inside of the house. And then we learn that Sienna says, come on, we got to go. So Sienna, Rita, June, and Beth. And I was like, why all four of y'all got to go? Can't one of y'all or two of y'all stay to keep this organized? Anyways, so they all go and they tie the ribbon, those strips that Beth was cutting up earlier, like she was ripping up earlier. They go tie them all around. So they go all the way from the Lawrence house until where they need to go to try to get to the helicopter. And they're leaving a trail. They're leaving the mark so they can find it. So then we see, okay, so then we go Sierra. I'm getting Sienna and Serena. God, I'm calling her Sierra. Serena. I'm getting so confused with Sienna, Serena. Like, y'all should did a different name for Sienna. But anyway, okay, so we see Serena. So she's with the baby, right? And Tuello comes and he says, get the baby. And she's like, what's going on? What's going on, Mark? And he tells her she's under arrest with the ICC for sex trafficking, assault, rape, and all these charges. And she's like, what? I have immunity. I gave, because she's supposed to give her disposition and all that, and to the Americans and all them the next week. And she was Serena was supposed to be a free woman. And so she's like, what is going on? And he said, this ain't got nothing to do with what you did with Fred. They said this has nothing to do with what you did with Fred. This is what you did when you made Luke, when you made Nick and June sleep together so that you could take their child. So Fred told. He told that information. And she was like, she said, of Joseph and Nick were got in a relationship or whatever. He said, that's still rape, ma'am. You still, because remember, they eventually got in a relationship, but they never would have got in a relationship had she not forced had she not forced Nick to sleep with June. Like, she forced them to do that so that she could get that baby, because Fred couldn't have children, remember? And she wanted of Joseph out of that household, and Fred told. So now she's up on all these charges, and that immunity don't count for that. And you know how Tuello seemed like he had like a little feelings and stuff, but them feelings was gone in this scene. He was like, get the baby, get her back downstairs and everything. So then we see that okay, so Beth, June, Sienna, and Rita go back to the house, and they're like, the light is out. And they were like, so then they start walking up because they don't know what's going on. So they go up to the gate and they open it slowly, and they walk inside of the Lawrence house slowly and everything. And they see all these children, and Lawrence is sitting there reading books to them, and there's Martha's and handmaids and children and everything. And Rita said, this is way more than 52. Like, this is way more people than we said or whatever. And June is just so happy. So she's just looking and she's smiling, and then Janine walks through. And so when June sees Janine, so she walks to the back as well and everything. And Beth says, tell me what you know. Tell me again what you know. And Janine says, they know something's up, because, that Martha got caught 2 miles from here. And I was like, I bet that Martha is singing, if she's not singing or whatever. But she couldn't have said, I guess she didn't say anything because they didn't come to the Lawrence household. But she said the Martha got caught, and so they know the Martha was somewhere around that area. So she's like, they're going door to door. I don't know who Janine got her information from. Maybe her commanders, because they probably thought she wasn't going to tell. She's like, so they're going door to door. So June goes to the window and she looks out and she sees them going door to door. So they're all looking at June like, what we gonna do? And June says, we gotta leave. Let's get them together and let's get up out of here. Go out both doors, and start hitting the trail. So that's what they do. So they get all the children and they're marching them out and everything. Even I was like, how is this possible? Like, they are literally across the street from y'all or whatever. And I thought the Lawrences stayed so far out you couldn't see any of that. I'm so confused on how they have this set up now, but whatever. We just gonna roll with it and act like the Lawrences were not miles out from civilization when we first met them. But whatever. So anyways, so then we see that June tells them all to get out. So then June and Joseph are talking. And she says, you're not coming. And he's like, no, I don't like kids and I don't like planes. And she's just like, okay. And then he tells her, she says, well, your wife would want you, to come and everything. And he says, no, I think she would want me to take care of what, because I started this and I think that's what she would want me to do, take care of, what I put into place. So he's not going. He's going to stay. I don't know what that means for him, as far as he's saying he's going to, try to fix what he started. So I don't know if that means that, he's going to get away with this, because you can't fix what you started if you're on the wall. But anyways, she leaves him behind, and he calls her June Osborne, and she calls him Joseph. They call each other by their first name, because they know they probably will never see each other again. Because at this point, I don't know if June knew she was going to go or if she was going to stay or not. And it was a cute scene where he told her, "You told me you were not going to be trouble," and she was like, "I lied," or whatever, because she caused a lot of trouble for him. So anyways, then we see that they went, so they're making their way through the woods. June and they're leading the way, making their way through the woods with the kids and everything. And then they go by, and a police officer's car comes by. So they duck down, and they get down on the ground and everything. And then it goes by, so they get back up. So then they finally make it to the plane. They can see the plane, and it's happy music playing. They're like, yes, it was worth it. And then a guard shows up, and he opens up the gate and everything, and he's protecting that plane, so they can't get to it. They can't get to the plane because he's right there in the middle between them and the plane. He doesn't see them because they're in the woods still. And June just tells Kiki, "I'm sorry this had to be so hard." And Kiki's like, "It's okay. Sometimes you have to go through something," or whatever. So anyways, so June she takes Kiki to Rita, and she tells Rita protect her. And Rita is like, "Please don't do this, June." And she's just like, "Promise me you'll protect her." And she's like, "Okay." And she tells Rita, find a way through the fence and go and get on that plane. And Rita was like, "They'll see us." And she's like, June tells her, "I'm not going to let that happen." And so that's when Rita's like, "Please just come with us." And June is like, "No, she's going to be the distraction so that they can get on the plane." So then she goes and she picks up a rock because she's going to throw it at the guards, two guards. And so she's about to throw it at the guard and everything. And when she picks it up, she hears a snapping noise, and she looks back, and the Marthas and the Handmaids have come with her to help distract, because they're willing. Because I guess they're at this point they're willing to give their lives, so that the children can get out. So whatever they have to do, they're gonna do it so the children can be safe. So then we see June gets up, and they get up and they start throwing rocks at the guards. They're throwing them, and one of the guards goes to the ground, and the other guard comes out. I guess they hit him and kind of knocked him out. And the other guard he gets out and he starts shooting at them. So they dug down. I think two of the Marthas got killed, because this goes on they throw and then they dug down. And while they're doing this, Rita is passing right in front of those guards. I said, listen, okay. So Rita gets the children. She's getting the children on the plane, passing right through. And so then they keep doing this, and then June finally realizes, we can't keep doing this. There's going to be more Marthas and Handmaids killed. So she kisses Janine, and because Janine's right beside her, and she looks over at Sienna, and then she stands up and she walks into the light where the guard can see her. And he says, "Put your hands up," and then she turns around and she starts to run. And so that it's only one guard, so he starts running after her. And he's running. And I think she was thinking that the other Marthas and Handmaids were going to find their way onto the plane. So he starts running after her, and he's shooting, and then he finally shoots her. And she goes down. And he says, "Put your hands up, don't move," and everything. So then he gets up to her and he flips her over. And when he flips her over, she's got the gun she put that gun in her boot, and she shoots him. And then while he's on the ground, she tells him, they're both shot. So they're both struggling to breathe and stay alive. So she tells him, "Say all clear. Say all clear." And so finally he says all clear, and she says, "Thank you." And then, her face was all like, "Oh, thank you so much." And then her face turned like mean and how do you explain? Her face turned determined, and she shoots him. She kills him because she has to, because she can't let him stay alive, because he might, go and get help, or he might outlive her to be able to radio for help. Um, so then she lays down because she's been shot, so she can't physically go anymore. So she lays down and she hears the plane engine, and then her eyes, she's on her back, so she looks up and she can see, like, she can hear and see the plane going. And so it's like, for her, it's like it's worth it, because she's like, oh my gosh, we did it. Mind you, that they had to leave early, because remember, they were supposed to leave at midnight, but because of the Martha getting caught and stuff, and they know she was in that area, so they know the child is in that area. They don't realize how many children, but they know that one child is. They're like, okay, we're gonna start searching, so they had to leave earlier. So it's still rather it's dark, but it's still earlier in the evening than when they wanted to go. So they were lucky the plane was there. They, like, everything worked out. I don't know. Anyways, so she knows they got to safety because she can hear the plane. And so then we go to Canada, and they're rolling the plane in, and I said, wait a minute. Because Moira is there, and she's directing everybody, and she's telling them we need stretchers. We don't know what we're going to find. And I said, well, wait a minute. Y'all missing some points to tell us, like, how they knew this plane was gonna come in, and how they know that it's a good plane. Like, y'all forgot to tell us this information when you were doing all of this. And so, anyways, they find Luke is there, Emily is there, and Moira goes, and she gets on the plane, and she looks and she sees all these little girls, and boy, and I think it was a boy or something too. Was it a boy? But anyway, she sees all these little girls, and she sees Rita. And maybe it's just all little girls. I thought I saw a boy. I don't know. Y'all tell me. So and so she says, I'm here to help you. And then the little girl Kiki, she says, is this where I can dress the way I want to dress? And she's like, yes. So they start getting the kids off the plane. And Maura is covering Kiki to keep her warm. They give them that little foil thing, plastic like foil thing. And she says, what's your name? And Kiki is like, and then there's a man in the background that says, Rebecca. And he's like got tears in his eyes, and he gets down on his knees, and Kiki looks, and Moria's like, you know him? And Kiki drops a little warming thing, and she runs, and she's like, daddy. I'm like, she remembered. Y'all, it was an emotional scene. I ain't gonna lie. They be missing some parts to tell you about what all is going on, but it was emotional. I watched it twice, and I did cry twice on both of them, because I was like, yay. Or whatever. Happy ending on The Handmaid's Tale finally, because season 1 and season 2 it ended where we were like, what's gonna happen? So that was a nice moment. And then, but it gives Luke hope. Now this is what made me cry, because y'all know I don't really like Luke, but this made me like, oh man, because he was like, Hannah, please let Hannah be on there. So he's looking and stuff, and and all the passengers come out, and Hannah's not on there. And then Rita gets off, and Rita just, they take the baby from Rita, and she just gets down on her knees, and she's crying, because I guess she can't even believe she got this freedom, because literally the Waterfords left Rita to defend for herself. And so Emily recognizes Rita, and she's like, Rita, and Rita looks up, and she's like, I'm Emily of Joseph. And so then Rita is just like, oh my gosh, blessed praise be or something. And she's like, hi. And they say hi and everything. And then Luke is disappointed because he doesn't see Hannah. June is not there. But Emily tells him, Luke. And she introduces him to Rita, and Rita was like, oh, you're Luke. And she was like, it's so good to meet you. And she gives him a hug, and he's just like, what? Huh? And she was like, you're June. June did this. You're June. She did all of this and everything. So, he starts crying some more because he knows, and she's like, I hope everything is okay. And he's crying some more because, his girl did it, or, so it's a nice little moment for him. Even though he doesn't get her, she knows she's over there and she's fighting. So then we go to June, and it's the morning now, and I was like, where you handmaids been? Because they come and they get June because she's been shot. And June is kind of in her mind, and she's thinking about happier times with Luke and Hannah. And she's just thinking about the happier times that they had, and how, They were playing outside on a merry-go-round, and she's looking up in the sky, and then she starts singing, reciting a passage. I can't think of the passage, but it basically says like the God is with you. He's taking you out of bondage and all of that. Y'all, that was the Handmaid's Tale. Oh, child, it was a long one. But and also I forgot to mention earlier that June is just like, we're not going to give up because Francis' death would be in vain. Eleanor's death would be in vain. Who else? Just so many deaths would be in vain of Matthew if they gave up. So when she was talking to the commander. But anyways, that was the Handmaid's Tale, and it was a good season. It was an okay season. It didn't get good until like episode 9 or 10. And I hope they don't do that next season where you have to go through all of this to finally make it make sense on what they're doing. And I don't know what's going to happen because June is shot. I don't know where the handmaids are going to take her because they should be at home. What took them so long to find her and get her? Because she didn't run that far. I don't know. It's not really, like, at first I could see what was going on with the handmaids, but season 3 wasn't really that realistic for me. But it was still a good season. I'm still going to watch season 4 and everything. But anyways, y'all, that was the Handmaid's Tale. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next year. Bye.